ನಿತಾಯಿ ನಿತಾಯಿ ನಯನ ತಾರ ಸಾಧನ ನಿತಾಯಿ ಭಜನ ನಿತಾಯಿ ನಿತಾಯಿ ನಯನ ತಾರ ದಸದಿಕ್ಕಮಯ ನಿತಾಯಿ ಸುಂದರ ನಿತಾಯಿ ಭುವನ ಭಾರ ದಸದಿಕ್ಕಮಯ ನಿತಾಯಿ ಸುಂದರ ನಿತಾಯಿ ಭುವನ ಭಾರ करे निताई बाहिर निताई निताई जगत माया नगर निताई नगरी निताई कथाये काया राधार माधुरी अनंग मंजरी निताई नितुसे सेवे राधार माधुरी अनंग मंजरी निताई नितुसे सेवे कोटि शशधर बदन सुंदर सख सखी बलदेवे कोटि शशधर बदन सुंदर सख सखी बलदेवे राधार भगिनी श्याम सोहगिनी सब सखी गण प्राण राधार भगिनी श्याम सोहगिनी सब सखी गण प्राण जनहरल बरी मंडप सजनी श्रीमणि मंदिर नाम जनहरल बरी मंडप सजनी श्रीमणि मंदिर नाम करे निताई बाहिर निताई निताई जगत माया नगर निताई नगरी निताई कथाये काया निताई सुंदर योग पीठ धरे रत्न सिंहासन सेजे निताई सुंदर योग पीठ धरे रत्न सिंहासन सेजे भषण निताई भूषण निताई विलासे शकीर माजे भषण निताई भूषण निताई विलासे शकीर माजे की काही बार निताई शबर अंकी मुख शब अंग की काही बार निताई शबर अंकी मुख शब अंग निताई 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 नूतरंग निताई 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 नूतरंग अंतरे निताई बाहिर निताई निताई जगत माया नगर निताई नगरी निताई कथाये काया बोलिया दुबाहु तुलिया चली बब्रजेर पूरे ताई बोलिया दुबाहु तुलिया चली बब्रजेर पूरे दास वृंदावन यही निवेदन निताई न चढ़ मोरे दास वृंदावन यही निवेदन निताई न चढ़ मोरे अंतरे निताई बाहिरे निताई निताई जगत माया अंतरे निताई बाहिरे निताई निताई जगत माया नगर निताई नगरी निताई कथाये काया नगर निताई नगरी निताई कथाये काया अंतरे निताई बाहिर निताई निताई जगत माया नगर निताई नगरी निताई कथाये काया अंतरे निताई बाहिर निताई निताई जगत माया नगर निताई नगरी निताई कथाये काया।
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, welcome you all for session 1 of the 8th Global Online Event, the life and teachings of Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura, organized by the BBDS Sanga. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself has glorified Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura as the Vedavyas of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And tomorrow we are celebrating the auspicious disappearance day of Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. So in today's session, dear devotees, and the upcoming sessions also, we'll be going very deep into the life and teachings of Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. So for today's event, for your pleasure, we are offering language interpretation in Hindi, Portuguese, and Spanish. So please let us watch a very beautiful video instructing us on how to access the different channels. So can we have the video, please?
Português estiver no computador, clique no ícone Krishna, queridos devotos, reverências, todas as glórias a Srila Prabhupada. Hoje teremos interpretação simultânea para a língua portuguesa. Se você desejar ouvir em português e estiver no computador, clique no ícone do globo no canto inferior direito da sua tela. Em seguida, selecione o idioma português. Para os usuários de celular, clique no ícone mais, depois no ícone do globo e em seguida escolha o canal de português. Muito obrigada. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा। आज हिंदी भाषा में अनुवाद की सुविधा उपलब्ध है। अपने कंप्यूटर पर हिंदी इंटरप्रिटेशन चैनल तक पहुंचने के लिए कृपया अपनी स्क्रीन के निचले दाएं कोने में ग्लोब आइकन पर क्लिक करें। इसके बाद हिंदी चैनल पर क्लिक करें। मोबाइल उपयोगकर्ताओं के लिए अधिक आइकन पर क्लिक करें, फिर भाषा व्याख्या के लिए ग्लोब आइकन पर और हिंदी चैनल का चयन करें। आपको धन्यवाद। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, queridos devotos, reverencias, todas las glorias a Srila Prabhupada. Hoy tendremos interpretación simultánea al español. Si quieres escuchar en español y estás en tu computadora, haz clic en el icono del globo terráqueo en la esquina inferior derecha de tu pantalla. Luego, selecciona español como idioma. Para usuarios de dispositivos móviles, haz clic en el icono más, luego en el icono del globo terráqueo, luego selecciona español como idioma. Muchas gracias. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That was such an instructing video on how to access the different channels in the meeting. And also, if you are facing any kind of technical difficulties or you need help regarding language interpretation, or you have any other queries, something that you want to ask, please kindly ask your servant on the Zoom chat, and the devotee will be very happy to give you assistance. And now we have the pleasure to invite our dear most spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Dhir Damodar Swami Maharaj on screen. And we also invite 𝐂𝐡𝐴𝐻 Prabhu on screen. And Prabhuji will be offering a garland to Srila Gurudev. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please, on behalf of my dear God brothers, let me accept this garland. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the garland offering. And now we kindly seek the permission of Srila Gurudev to begin today's session. So, Srila Gurudev, do we have your permission and blessings to begin? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Srila Gurudev. And our very first item coming up is a short video on the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata. And I would like you all to kindly enjoy this video.
Nityananda, Gadadhara, Advaita, Srivasa, Vidyanidhi, Murari, Haridasa, Hiranya, Gangadasa, Vanamali, Vijaya, Nandana, Jaganandana, Buddhimatta Khana, ನಾರಾಯಣ, ಕಾಶಿವರ, ವಾಸುದೇವ, ರಾಮ, ಗರುಡ, ಗೋವಿಂದ, ಗೋವಿಂದ ನಂದನ, ಗೋಪಿನಾಥ, ಜಗದೀಶ, ಶ್ರೀಮಾನ, ಶ್ರೀಧರ, ಸದಾಶಿವ, ವಕ್ರೇಶ್ವರ, ಶ್ರೀಗರ್ಭ, ಸುಖಲಂಬರ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾನಂದ, ಪುರುಷೋತ್ತಮ, Sanjaya, and innumerable the servants of Lord Chaitanya were present in those kirtans. They all participated in Lord's dancing. No one other than the Lord's associates were present there. There was no break in Lord's ecstatic dancing. All his associates chanted around him day and night. Sometimes the devotees chanted at the Lord's house while Satchiyananda danced. Sometimes the Lord manifested his mood as the supreme controller, and sometimes he cried while saying, "I am the servant." As Lord Gauranga danced in ecstasy, the devotees sang in ecstasy. The auspicious inauguration of the chanting of the names of Gopala and Govinda took place in sacred courtyard of Srivas Thakura. Vishwambara began dancing at the time of sunrise, and devotees sang sweetly in various groups. The name of Govinda vibrated in all directions as the son of Sachi became overwhelmed while dancing in ecstasy and with his associates.
Jai, that was such a mesmerizing video from the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, Madhya Kanda, Part 2, Chapter 8. And now, dear devotees, let us take a look at today's schedule, which is here on your screen. So we just watched the video from the Chaitanya Bhagavata. And next, after that, we have a very nice talk by our guest speaker for today, Sri Vrndavana-dasa Prabhu. Can you have the schedule once again, please? I think there is some technical issue. Yeah. So we have a very nice talk by our guest speaker for today, His Grace Sri Vrndavana-dasa Prabhu, on the life of chanting and dancing as demonstrated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And after that, we have an interesting quiz time. We have the different questions to test your knowledge on Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. And after that, we have a very beautiful drama by the Gana Yatra. And at the end, we have a very nice bhajan from the devotees of Nairobi, Kenya. So now, dear devotees, we have the pleasure and honor to invite our guest speaker for today, His Grace Sri Vrndavana-dasa Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept our obeisances, Prabhu. Welcome you.
Hare Krishna. This is some
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So His Grace, His Grace Sri Vrndavana-dasa Prabhu joined ISKCON in Africa in 1981 and received initiation in 1983. He served as temple president in different temples of Nigeria and Ghana. He also served as a BBT manager and the regional secretary. He teaches the Bhakti Sastri and Bhakti Vaibhava courses at the Mayapur Institute. At present, he serves ISKCON as the regional secretary for West Africa, GBC deputy, member of the TASC, the Task for the Assessment of Sannyas Candidates, Sannyas Ministry, executive member, Sustainable Vaishnava Community Development, SVC, and the zonal supervisor for West Africa. Prabhuji is also a global duty officer, and he's West Africa's first Grihastha Guru. So we're very happy to have you, Prabhuji. And we now invite Ramcharan Prabhu from Nigdi, India, to offer a garland to Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maji.
Garland. My Abhal obeys to you, I told you to speak. This is the garland from Gaur-Nitai. Our Nigri temple is called Nigri temple, Rave, the most Lord Sri Radha Govindji's Gaur-Nitai garland for you.
Thank you for your wonderful garland. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Ramcharan Prabhu, for the garland offering. And at the end of Prabhuji's talk, we will take some questions. And for that, we will request the devotees to raise their virtual hands to ask their questions. And they can also send their questions in the chat box and we'll read them for you. So now we kindly invite His Grace Srivas Vanachari Prabhuji to share his precious words with us on the topic, the life of chanting and dancing as demonstrated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Amagyanatamridasya gyanan gyanashalakaya chakshudamalitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yukta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunastam Vitam Tam Sanjivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Scha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Iti Namini Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Sri Tatmane Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Namini Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvesai Sasuyavadi Pasachadi Satarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Anvaita Gadadhar Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum lagayate grim yat kare patamahan vande Shri Guru Dina Taranam Paramanam Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Akanda Mandala Karam Vyapta Yina Chara Charam Tatpadam Dashitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So first of all, I'd like to thank His Holiness Bhakti Damodara Maharaj for organizing such wonderful programs, for nourishing our spiritual life, speaking about personalities like Vrndavana-dasa Thakura, speaking about the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, are a veritable nourishment for our hungry souls. So I'd like to thank him and his team, disciples, for organizing this global event that gives us some opportunity to render some service to such exalted personalities like Vrndavana-dasa Thakura and to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates by remembering their activities. I have some PowerPoint to share. If I could be made a co-host.
Yes, Prabhuji, the needful is being done. Yeah.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
So you're already the co-host? Yes. You're already the co-host?
So go ahead.
Screen.
So we have a short PowerPoint just to help us keep in track of what we want to say. So, life of chanting and dancing as demonstrated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Synopsis: Lord Chaitanya drowns the three worlds with love of Godhead. So, as it was captured in the short film, Vrndavana-dasa Thakura is compared to Srila 𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐝𝐿, who compiled the Vedic literatures. And we know that Vrndavana-dasa Thakura is very much related to Srivas Pandit. Vrndavana-dasa Thakura, his mother is Narayani Devi, who is a niece of Srivas Thakura. So Narayani was just a 4-year-old girl when these pastimes of these kirtans were being performed in the house of Srivas Acharya or Srivas Pandit. And she was actually an example of someone who was induced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to taste the nectar of love of Godhead. When these kirtans were going on, the atheists around Srivas Thakura's house were disturbed by these kirtans. So there were complaints. And so they made complaint to the king that there were some Vaishnavas who were disturbing their sleep. And so it was reported that the king had sent several boats of soldiers to come to arrest Srivas Thakura, because it was in his house, in his compound, that the chanting of the holy name, loud chanting of the holy name at night was performed. And so they felt he was the culprit, he was the cause. And if he were arrested, then the rest of them would stop. So therefore, Srivas Thakura was worshipping his Narasimhadev deity for protection when Lord Chaitanya, understanding the heart of his devotees, appeared there. Kicking at the door of Srivas Thakura, he entered the house and he saw Srivas Thakura worshipping his deity, and he asked him, "Why are you afraid? I am here. The king cannot do anything to you. And if the king challenges, I will go to his house, I'll go to his courtyard, and I'm going to ask him to bring all his mullahs and qazis, and I'll ask him to bring all his elephants, horses, and domestic animals. And I'm going to ask the king to tell his mullahs and qazis to read the Quran. And if the animals do not respond to that reading, then I will demonstrate the power of the holy name to the king." Then he said, "If you don't believe what I'm saying," then he turned around and saw little Narayani. He said, "Narayani, chant the holy names. Chant the holy names ecstasy and cry." And immediately Narayani fell into ecstasy. She was chanting the holy names and crying and rolling on the ground, and she lost consciousness. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, now you believe that I can challenge the king. If the king comes to arrest you, I will be the first to enter the boat, and I will go to his palace and I will challenge him. So when Srila Thakura witnessed this, that his little niece had been affected by Mahaprabhu's love, the love of Godhead that Mahaprabhu was distributing, they understood that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself standing before him. So Narayani, the mother of Vrndavana-dasa Thakura, was one of those people who first received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So no wonder that his son, Vrndavana-dasa Thakura, became the Vyasadeva of Chaitanya Mangalam. So much of this presentation is from the Chaitanya Mangalam, as you see. So here we have, after returning from Gaya Dham, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to manifest ecstatic symptoms due to feelings of separation from Krishna, while describing the glories of the holy Dham to the devotees. This is found in the introduction. So we all know the story that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gaya under the pretext to perform the Shraddha ceremony, Pindal ceremony, for his departed father, Jagannath Mishra, who had passed away. But actually it is said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gaya purposely to meet his spiritual master, Ishwarapuri, and take initiation from him. So after meeting Ishwarapuri and taking Diksha from Ishwarapuri, he was completely transformed. And so when he, on his way back from Gaya, at Kanai Natshala, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encountered Lord Krishna. Krishna appeared before him, dressed in yellow garments, with the flute to his lips, very attractive, very enchanting. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that. Actually, it is, some people reported that Krishna embraced Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and disappeared. And that was the beginning of his spiritual madness. He started feeling separation from Krishna. He wanted to see Krishna again. He wanted to embrace Krishna again, but Krishna disappeared. So with that mood, when he came back to Navadvip, that mood followed him to Navadvip. And so anywhere he would want to describe or discuss the events in Gaya, those ecstatic moments, ecstatic feelings, feelings of separation from Krishna will erupt, and he will begin to cry. Devotees like Srivas, Pandit, Srimam Gadadhara, Pandit, Sadashiva, in the house of Shuklambara, Brahmachari, were astonished and crying to see the Lord's feeling of separation from Krishna. This is still from the introduction. So the devotees were very astonished to see the Lord's feelings of separation when he returned from Gaya. his life was completely transformed. The proud Nimai Pandit that was known in Navadvip, in Mayapur, we know before he went to Gaya, he was the proud Nimai. He was defeating everybody, even including the Digvijaya. People feared to meet him. He was just troublesome to the scholars because he would defeat them again and again. But when he returned from Gaya, he gave up that mood of a scholar. He became very humble. He became a servant. He was always crying, always feeling separation from Krishna. And so his whole life changed. And the devotees around him, including Srivas Pandit, Garadhara Pandit, Sadashiva Suklambar, they were always astonished to see how Lord Chaitanya is crying in separation of Krishna. Gaura Chandra Jaya Dharma Setu Mahadiraha Jaya Sankirtana Maya Sundara Sariraha. All glories to the most sober Gaura Chandra, who is the bridge of religion. All glories to he whose most attractive body is the personification of Sankirtan. This is found in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Kant, chapter 1, verse 4. Vrndavana-dasa Thakura is glorifying Lord Chaitanya here as the bridge to religion. Lord Chaitanya is not only the bridge to religion, but he is a personification of Sankirtan. The very day he returned from Gaya, he became the personification of Sankirtan. Every moment he would chant Krishna's names. Every moment he will cry. It is said that sometimes he will go into trance for 6 hours. He will cry for 3 hours. He will laugh for 3 hours. That was his daily routine. Going into trance for several hours, chanting and dancing for several hours, crying out of separation for several hours, laughing out of ecstasy for several hours. That was his routine. Therefore, Vrndavana-dasa Thakura describes him as the personification of Sankirtan. And because he is distributing the Yuga Dham, he established the Yuga Dham and distributing the love of Godhead. He is the bridge to religion. He gives everyone the chance to actually practice true religion. In this age of Kali, there is no other bona fide religion except chanting the names of the Lord. Kali Kalera Dharma Harinam Sankirtan. In this age, the only religion, the bona fide religion, is to chant the holy names of Krishna. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu demonstrated that. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu constantly did that. Therefore, Vrndavana-dasa Thakura describes him as the bridge to religion. Pada Padma Titara Laite Prabhu Namaha Ajare Jaraye Dvi Kamala Nayanaha. As soon as the Lord repeated the name Pada Padmatirtha, tears began to incessantly flow from his eyes. Eventually, the Lord lost all composure as he called out the name of Krishna and cried profusely. In fact, it is mentioned in several places that Mother Sachi was very disturbed because he had not seen this behavior of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before he went to Gaya. And now that he has returned from Gaya, he was behaving like an abnormal person, crying, falling on the ground, rolling on the ground. And in fact, people would tell such a matter that your son is suffering from a disease caused by the imbalance of air in the system. In other words, they were saying the dear son of such a matter was mentally ill. And so they recommend things like drinking coconut water. He should be tied at the feet, tied at the hands, and then they should feed him coconut water until he recovers from this illness. So anytime he would remember Pada Padmatirtha, that is Gayadam, then tears would begin to flow from his eyes like torrents of rain. And all that he can remember is, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? That was his mantra. He chanted day and night. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is unable to remain still due to chanting the holy names of Krishna. Varila Pushpira Vana Maha Prema Jale Mahaswasa Chadi Prabhu Krishna Krishna Bhale. The flower garden was inundated with tears of love, and the Lord sighed deeply while chanting the names of Krishna. The Lord's entire body was decorated with hair standing on end, and he was unable to remain still as his body began to intensely shiver. So this is a graphical description of the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The hairs on his body were standing erect like thorns, like pins, because of the intense feelings for Krishna, because of the intense love for Krishna. And tears were pouring from his eyes like sprinklers. Anybody who came in front of him was bathed in the tears of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the tears were coming so much so that the flower garden was inundated. The whole flower garden, the whole house, the tears were pouring so much so that everywhere was inundated with the tears of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, simply due to his feelings of separation from Krishna. The Lord's associates were struck with wonder at the flow of his tears. Chaturdike nayane bhaye premadhara gangayena asya karela avatara. Tears of love flowed from the Lord's eyes in all directions, as if the Ganga had appeared there. Everyone there was struck with wonder and thought, we have never before seen him like this. So the amount of tears that were coming from the eyes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in itself a wonder. It was as if that the Ganges had appeared on his face. So we can imagine, we can just try to comprehend the deep, deep feelings Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had about Krishna. The love, the affection that was within his heart was so deep, was so great, that he was shedding volumes upon volumes of tears, that the whole garden, flower garden, was inundated. His whole compound inundated. So his associates, they were shocked. They were struck with wonder because they had never seen such in him. Before he went to Gaya, they had never seen this. So they were highly surprised. Lord Chaitanya's first meeting with his intimate associates in the house of Suklambara. Sadashiva Murari Srimam Suklambara Milila Shakala Yata Prema Anucharaha. Soon, devoted companions of the Lord like Sadashiva, Murari, Sriman Pandit, and Suklambara all gathered there. They all greeted the Lord in great happiness, but the Lord did not manifest any external consciousness. So the news was spreading, the change in behavior of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. People were coming to Sachimata's house and seeing the Lord in trance for hours. So eventually his close associates, including Sadashiva, Murari, Sriman Pandit, Sukalambara, Srivas Thakur, and many others, they came and they saw the Lord in trance. They were happy to greet the Lord, but the Lord was deeply absorbed in his love for Krishna that he did not manifest any external consciousness. As I mentioned before, sometimes for 6 hours, he'll be in trance. And then when he get out of the trance, he will cry continuously for 3 hours. And when he stops crying, he will laugh continuously for 3 hours. So in this way, nobody understood what was going on in the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Manifestations of feelings of separation from Krishna. Dekilena matra Prabhu Bhagavata Gana Pandite Lagila Sloka Bhaktira Lakshanaha. As soon as the Lord saw the devotees, he began reciting verses to glorify the characteristics of devotional service. Then the Lord said, I attained my Lord, but oh, where has he gone? Saying this, the Lord fell to the ground while holding a pillar. So when the devotees met the Lord, he was in trance. They were happy to see the Lord, but the Lord was in trance, so he could not communicate with them. But eventually, when he came out of his trance, and he saw the devotees, immediately, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he began to recite some specific verses from the scriptures, glorifying the characteristics of pure devotional service. Simultaneously, he will cry out, I've attained my Lord, but he has left me. Where has he gone? This was his constant mantra. Where is Krishna? Krishna, oh Krishna, where are you? So he manifested this separation in such a wonderful way that in the house of Shukambara, Brahmachari, he was feeling so much separation, he grabbed a pillar for support, but the pillar collapsed under his pressure. These are some of the verses that Mahaprabhu recited when he saw the devotees. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparattvena nirmalam hrisikesa hrisikesa zevanam bhakti rochate. Engagement of the senses and purification of the senses. So Mahaprabhu, by quoting this verse, he wants to inform his audience that in order to experience the presence of the Lord, the senses must be totally engaged in the service of the Lord. And when the senses are totally engaged in the service of the Lord, then they can become purified. And when the senses are purified, then one can have access to the darshan of the Lord. Then he also quoted this verse, Anya bilashita sunyam gyana karmanandi anavritam anukulyena krishna nushlanam bhaktir utamaha. Pure devotional service must be free from gyan and karma. Only pure devotional service allows one to interact with Krishna. Only pure devotional service will give us the opportunity to have darshan of Krishna. One who has a lot of impurities in the mind, in the heart, Krishna darshan is not possible. So Mahaprabhu is quoting these verses to let us understand that when we have the desire of meeting Krishna, we have the desire of having the darshan of Krishna, then we must apply these verses in our life. The senses must be engaged totally in the service of the Lord in order to get purified. And one must give up the desire of karma and gyan. It is only pure bhakti, pure devotional service that attracts Krishna. Nothing else attracts Krishna. This is the message Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made us or want to present to us, want us to understand. The Lord crashes due to feelings of separation from Krishna. Vanjila grihera stamba prabhura aveshe kota Krishna Maliya padila muktakeshe. The pillar of the house broke under the pressure of the Lord. As he fell on the ground, his hair scattered, and he lamented, "Where is Krishna?" As soon as the Lord fell to the ground, saying, "Oh Krishna," all the devotees tottered here and there and also fell to the ground. As soon as the Lord crashed the ground with a pillar, it's like the whole universe had crashed, and all the devotees were fleeing here and there, and they also crashed to the ground in ecstasy. They also fainted. So that was the effect of witnessing the intense love, intense feelings Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was exhibiting towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotees lost consciousness due to ecstatic love for Krishna. Sabe haila Krishna prema anande muchita asena janavi devi haya vishmitaha. All the devotees lost consciousness due to ecstatic love for Krishna. And the goddess Janavi smiled in amazement. After some time, Vishwambara regained his external consciousness and began to cry loudly and piteously while calling out the name of Krishna. So when he crashed with a pillar, he was transferred to Goloka Vrindavan. He was absorbed in thinking of Krishna. He was relishing Krishna's association. So he was in trance. He had lost external consciousness. And he carried along those devotees who were present to witness this pastime. But eventually, he came out of his trance. And here it is said, Janavi is Ganga. Mother Ganga is Janavi, the daughter of Janamuni. So Ganga Devi is smiling to see her Lord in such ecstasy, to see her Lord feeling such separation. So she's smiling in amazement. Meanwhile, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is crying loudly, piteously, calling out, "Oh Krishna, oh Krishna, oh Krishna, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna?" This was a mantra he chanted day and night. Lord Chaitanya revealed and spread the holy name of Krishna to Sri Advaita. Sarvadeshe haibika Krishnera Kirtana Gare Gare Nagare Nagare Anukshanaha. The chanting of Krishna's name will be spread to all countries, all towns, and all houses. Devotional service that is rare even to Brahma will now be available to everyone by your mercy. Advaita Acharya actually invoked the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advaita Acharya saw that Kali Yuga had arrived and things were getting very, very degraded. So Advaita Acharya was calling out to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was calling out to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he has to personally come to deliver the residents of Kali Yuga because the degradation was so much and only he could do it. So by his loud cries and worshiping Shalagram Shila with tulasi leaves and Ganga Jal, Lord Chaitanya appeared. So when the Lord began to feel this great intense separation from Krishna, at that time, Advaita Acharya was still worshiping his Shalagram Shilas with Ganga Jal and tulsi leaves. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Advaita Acharya's house to let him understand that person you are calling out, that person you are invoking, that person you are inviting is already here. And Mahaprabhu is telling Advaita that the chanting of Krishna's name will spread to all countries, all towns, all houses. Devotional service that is rare even to Brahma will now be available to everyone by your mercy. By Advaita Acharya's mercy, now we have this prophecy has come true. The holy name of Krishna has spread throughout the world. by the mercy of His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Actually, it is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Premamara Taro Priyam Shakarupa Bhakta Gana Krishna Prema Phala Pradhan. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the devotees of the Lord. The Lord, who is the tree of love of Godhead, has so many branches and sub-branches. And these branches, the devotees, they are busily distributing the love of Godhead to everyone, qualified or unqualified. So, Srila Prabhupada is one of those major branches of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought Srila Prabhupada into this world to spread these holy names of Krishna. And I can say that by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and his followers, his devotees, all of us have become sub-branches, twigs, and leaves of this Chaitanya tree, which is responsible for distributing love of Godhead. So this prophecy here, given by Vrndavana-dasa Thakura, has been fully manifested throughout the whole world, throughout all countries, throughout all towns, and practically throughout all homes. Krishna's name is chanted. And now devotional service, which was rare even for the Brahma, has become available, that somehow or the other, we have also some access to this process of Krishna consciousness. So we owe Srila Prabhupada lots and lots of gratitude for spreading the holy name, for manifesting this prophecy and making our lives successful, making our lives wonderful by giving us the opportunity to participate in the chanting of the holy names. And therefore, to show our gratitude, we have to spread the holy names far and wide. We have to distribute, we have to become agents of distribution of the holy names, so that every living entity in this world will get a chance to taste the holy names of Krishna that Advaita Acharya cried out for. And Lord Chaitanya, responding to the cries of Advaita, he appeared in this world. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu urges Sri Advaita to give up his fast. E Srivasera Ghare Yateka Vaishnava Brahma Jiro Dulaba Dekibe Anubhava. All the Vaishnavas will experience realizations in the house of Srivas Pandit that are rare for even Lord Brahma. Therefore, eat your meal. I am departing now, but I will come again while you are eating. So it is said that Advaita Acharya was reading the Bhagavad Gita, and some area of Bhagavad Gita he could not comprehend well. So Advaita Acharya decided to fast. If he cannot understand the meaning or the purport of that area of Bhagavad Gita, he decided to fast. So as he was fasting and performing his pujas, Lord Chaitanya appeared in his house. And Lord Chaitanya is here telling him that all the Vaishnavas will experience realizations in the house of Srivas Pandit that are rare for even Lord Brahma. Therefore, eat your meal. I am departing now, but will come again while you are eating. So Lord Chaitanya is telling Advaita, please eat your meal. There is no need for fast. Whatever you are fasting for is already fulfilled. In Srivas Pandit's house, every Vaishnava will get a chance to taste the nectar of the holy name. They will have experiences. They will have some realizations that even Lord Brahma has never experienced. Advaita Acharya prays for the manifestation of Krishna's mercy. Sri Krishnera anugraha ho kasabari, Krishna name mataho sakala samsare. May the mercy of Krishna be manifest to all, and may the entire world be intoxicated by the name of Krishna. So this is the desire of Advaita Acharya. This is why he was worshipping his Shalagram Shilas with Ganga Jal and Tulsi Manjaris and crying out to the Lord to appear. He wanted the whole world to be intoxicated with the holy names of Krishna. So he is praying to Lord Chaitanya that please make your mercy manifest. Let the whole world experience the mercy of Krishna by becoming intoxicated with the names of Krishna. So that is the desire of the great Acharya, Advaita Acharya. It's an Acharya. He teaches by example. He teaches by his own practices. Advaita Acharya rose to inspire the chanting of the holy names. Anande Advaita Kare Parama Hunkara Sakala Vaishnava Kare Jaya Jaya Kara. Advaita Acharya roared loudly, and all the Vaishnavas chanted in jubilation. As they all chanted the names Hari, Lord Krishna manifested there in the form of kirtan. So kirtan is not different from Krishna. And so we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was a kirtan that satisfied his heart. Anytime he would feel the separation from Krishna, he will simply engage in kirtan. So similarly, when we engage in very strong kirtan, loud chanting of the holy names of Krishna, we can feel the presence of Krishna right there. Here, Vrndavana-dasa Thakura is describing that when Advaita Acharya roared loudly and all the Vaishnavas chanted in jubilation, Krishna manifested there in the form of kirtan. So kirtan is the means to feel the presence of Krishna. Kirtan is the means to experience Krishna. And we see that throughout the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Day and night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed Sankirtan. He would gather people during the day, hundreds of thousands of people, they would chant and dance. And at night, Mahaprabhu would not sleep. In the house of Srivas Thakura, he would organize his very intimate associates, and throughout the whole night, they would chant in ecstasy. They would dance in ecstasy. They would lose their consciousness, external consciousness, the whole night. So this indicates how much they felt the presence of Krishna during these kirtans. This demonstrates that simply by performing Krishna Kirtan, one can experience the presence of the Lord. Devotees request the Lord to mitigate their suffering. Prashandira Vakye Dakda Sarira Shakala Tumara E Prema Jale Karaha Sitala. Our bodies are burning from the fiery words of the atheist. Please mitigate our suffering with the cool water of your love. So because of these kirtans going on, the atheistic people who lived in Mayapur, in Navadvip, they were very disturbed. And so they were criticizing the devotees for performing these kirtans. So the devotees approached the Lord and they are pleading with the Lord, please mitigate our suffering with the cool water of your love. In other words, they were pleading with the Lord to intensify the chanting of the holy name. By intensifying the chanting of the holy name, they would go deeper and deeper into the love of Krishna, and they will be oblivious of the external world. They'll be oblivious of the criticisms of these atheists, of the complaints of these atheists, because they'll be so absorbed in Krishna name, Krishna Nam, that they would feel the coolness of this love of Krishna. So the devotees were appealing to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to intensify these kirtans. Devotees gave up attachment to household life and constantly engage in kirtan. So when they requested the Lord encouraged them by having more prolonged kirtans, more dancing, more chanting. Dekiya Prabhura Prema Sarvada Shagana Chatu Dike Prabhu Vedi Karaye Karadhana. When all the devotees saw the Lord's ecstatic love, they were also filled with ecstatic love and cried on all sides of him. All the devotees left aside their wealth, children, and households, and constantly engage in kirtan day and night with the Lord. So, as the devotees requested Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to cool them with the coolness of love of Godhead, Mahaprabhu increased his ecstasy. And when the devotees saw the Lord's ecstatic love, they were also filled with ecstatic love. And they cried on all sides. The Lord was in the center, like a moon, surrounded by many stars. So, as the Lord danced and cried, the devotees also danced and cried. Everyone was in ecstasy. The Lord was in ecstasy. The devotees were in ecstasy. And in this way, they forgot about the external world. So when Mahaprabhu left, he left Mayapur. Actually, Vrndavana-dasa Thakura does not cover very much of the activities of the Lord in Puri. Much of his descriptions is Mahaprabhu's Leela in Navadvip in Mayapur. But the Lord extended this pastime of singing and dancing, even when he took sannyas and left Mayapur. This pastime of dancing, chanting did not end. He went on to Puri and inaugurated the same mood of chanting and dancing in ecstasy. So, especially during the Ratha Yatra festival, Mahaprabhu would enthuse everyone to sing and dance and taste the nectar of Krishna Bhavamrita. So this is from the activities in the Ratha Yatra. Shata Sampradaye Bhaje Choda Mandala Yara Dvani Suni Vaishnava Haila Pangala. 7 chanting parties performed kirtan for the pleasure of the Lord. There were altogether 7 parties of Sankirtan, and in each party 2 men were beating drums. That's 14 drums were being played at once. The sound was tumultuous, and all the devotees became mad. So just as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu maddened the devotees in Mayapur, just as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made the devotees intoxicated with the holy names, the daily kirtan, regular kirtan in Mayapur, when the Lord took sannyas and went to Puri, he continued with the same mood, and he made everyone intoxicated with the holy names of Krishna. Vaishnavas came together and chanted the holy name in ecstasy. Vaishnavera mega gataya hai ila badala kirtanande sabha varshe nitrajala tribhuvane bari uta kirtanera dwani anya vyada dira dwani kinchuna suni. All the Vaishnavas came together like an assembly of clouds. As the devotees chanted the holy names in great ecstasy, tears fell from their eyes like rain. When the Sankirtan resounded, it filled the 3 worlds. Indeed, no one could hear any sounds of musical instruments other than Sankirtan. So the holy name is vibrating and drowns everything else. Nobody hears anything else except the holy name. This is the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the life of the devotees, the close associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He drowned the 3 worlds with the holy name. And then Lord Jagannath becomes astonished at the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even the Lord himself was astonished to see how Lord Chaitanya was dancing. Sajiyate Krishna Chaitanya Sri Rata Gre Anarta Yaha Yena Sit Jagatam Chitram Jagannatho Pi Vimsmitaha. May the Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who danced in front of the cart of Sri Jagannath, be glorified. By seeing his dancing, not only was the whole universe held in wonder, but Lord Jagannath himself became very much astonished. And finally, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu maddens the 3 worlds with love of Godhead. Yogyanam matam bhuvanam dayalur ulagayam api akaro pramatam swaprema sampat sudhayat budeham Sri Krishna Chaitanya anum prapadye. We offer our respectful obeisances unto that merciful Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has converted all 3 worlds, which were maddened by ignorance, and saved them from their diseased condition by making them mad with the nectar from the treasure house of love of Godhead. Let us take full shelter of that personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, whose activities are so wonderful. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came into this world to distribute love of Godhead. He came into this world to give everyone the chance to taste the sweetness of love of Godhead. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna Bhavamritahiyaha, Aswadyan Swadhyayam Bhaktam Premadiksham Ashikshayat. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came purposely to distribute this love of Godhead, to distribute this holy name for the benefit of everyone. And so this is our great fortune, that somehow or the other, we are all connected to this holy name. Somehow or the other, we are all connected to this kirtan. Somehow or the other, we are all connected to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so let us take advantage of this opportunity by immersing ourselves in chanting and dancing as Mahaprabhu demonstrated in his life in Mayapur, in Navadvip, and in Jagannath Puri. Even the Lord was so merciful. On his journey to South India, he even made animals, wild animals, to enjoy the nectar of the holy name of Krishna. In Jharkhand forest, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu induced wild tigers and elephants to chant and dance to the holy names of Krishna. And they tasted the nectar of the holy names of Krishna. And on this note, I end here. If there are any questions or comments, they're welcome. I hope I've not gone beyond my time.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this very enlightening and inspiring talk. No, Prabhuji, not at all. You were perfect. The content of your slide was simply amazing, Prabhuji. Yes, definitely. We have now we open the floor for questions, and we request the devotees who have questions, they can raise the virtual hands, or they can also send us their questions in the chat box. In the meantime, we have some devotees, they have sent us their questions, so I'll read that for you. So question 1, in Chaitanya Leela, we read that everybody could see such amazing ecstatic symptoms during Sankirtan of various devotees. Even the general public could see such amazing pastimes. So does these things also happen in current times? Why can't we see them?
They are still happening. They are still happening. Only we don't have the eyes to see. One time, Bhakti Tita Maharaj had some operation. When he had his prostate operation, he came to Ghana, and the devotees in America phoned to inform us that we should not allow Maharaj to dance because the doctors say he should not dance for a period of 2 or 3 months. So I went to Guru Maharaj and I told him that Guru Maharaj, I've received a phone call from the devotees in Washington that you have been banned from dancing. So we should not allow you to dance. And Guru Maharaj said, yes, doctor said I shouldn't dance, I won't dance. But we had a festival, I think it was a marriage ceremony or something like that. And then Guru Maharaj asked me to bring his round drum. And then he started slow motion. Then he would turn and say, I'm not going to dance. I'm just going to demonstrate, but I won't dance. So, but the tempo of the kirtan kept increasing and kept increasing and kept increasing to the point that Guru Maharaj threw away his cloth. He was wearing a cloth, a king's cloth. He threw the cloth away and he got into heavy dancing. So I would just go and I said, Guru Maharaj, you are disobeying the doctors. I'll be responsible because they have told me. Guru Maharaj just brushed me aside and continued dancing. So after the kirtan, I went to him and I said, Maharaj, what should I tell the devotees in America? And then, of course, your health is very important. So they said you should not dance and you are dancing. And Guru Maharaj said, he said, these kirtans are nectarian pastimes of the Lord. If one does not participate in these kirtans, he is deprived of the nectar of the holy names of Krishna. So how can I deprive myself of these nectarian pastimes? So by dancing, he said, Mahaprabhu becomes manifest in these kirtans. So Krishna becomes manifest in these kirtans. So how can I deprive myself of having the darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, having the darshan of Sri Krishna, simply because some doctors have asked me not to dance? So I understood that actually Guru Maharaj was experiencing the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was experiencing the presence of Krishna. And that's why we see the way he dances. He dances until all his dress is soaked with sweat. He is seeing Krishna. He is feeling the ecstasy. He is in the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is still happening. It is just that we do not have the qualification to see. There are devotees in our movement today who are still experiencing the presence of Krishna, the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when they chant the holy names and dance. It's still happening. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Something to say?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Maharaj can share his realizations about the holy name too.
Sharida, I think you're muted. Yes.
Thank you very much, Lord. That is wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for this very blissful answer. And as you said, as you mentioned in your lecture, that kirtan is the means to experience and feel the presence of Krishna. So we have, can see we have Vivek Kumar Prabhu, who has raised his hands. So Prabhuji, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Well,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
thank you so much for the nectarine class. Dancing in kirtan is very joyful. I was having a little bit of confusion, like we should always dance, or like sometimes because the kirtan is like soothing, or in Mangal Aarti we should not dance, there are devotees who dances and it's like sometimes very smooth and like we should always dance.
Yes. Kirtan means dancing, actually. Kirtan means loud chanting and dancing. So actually, it is said that kirtan is more powerful than japa. When we do japa, our mind is still roaming here and there. That is an experience. But when we get involved in very, very powerful kirtan, roaring kirtan, we stop thinking. So it is said that thinking stops during kirtan. But during japa, the mind still runs here and runs there. The mind is still traveling. But during kirtan, thinking stops. So kirtan is so powerful that it can arrest the mind. And therefore, the more kirtans we do, the more we can control this ranging mind. The more we dance in kirtan, the more we can control this mind. So we should always look for opportunities to dance in kirtan. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for the answer.
The mind is very heavy.
Yes, good.
And Rupa Goswami said that we should learn how to dance for Lord Krishna. So everybody should dance. If you don't dance, means your mind is too heavy and the holy name is not attractive. If the man is light, immediately say Hare Krishna with dance. We should dance every time. Not sometimes, all the time.
Yeah, every time. Dancing should be all the time. And we see Guru Maharaj, he doesn't play with kirtans. His life is kirtans. Every kirtan he must sweat because he's deriving so much pleasure. He's experiencing Krishna in that kirtan. So we must take kirtans very seriously. And I always remember in our early days when we used to do a lot of kirtan in the temple, the devotees were very blissful. I remember that very well. We would do Sundarati kirtan, we would go extra 1 hour, extra 2 hours. Everybody was very blissful. And then the next morning, japa becomes very sweet. When you do very strong kirtan, the mind becomes purified, and the next moment, you can do very nice japa. But these days, our kirtans have been very weak. And so, our japa also becomes weak. So if you want to do very good japa, do very good kirtan. It will be followed by very good japa. That is my experience. Many hands.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And thank you also, Srila Gurudev, for contributing to the answer. And we have a second question from Nairobi. Her Grace Hari Pran Priya Mataji. Yeah, Mataji, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Srila Manachari Prabhu, and His Holiness Bhakti Vrndavana-dasa Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. So my question, thank you also for the very nectarian pastimes on chanting and dancing of the Lord and his devotees. So my question is about the dancing styles, especially, well, I know I have had my experience dancing before coming to Krishna consciousness, dancing in church and also dancing in the not very auspicious situations. And coming here, you know, there's a whole change of culture. You find the dancing styles are different and so on. And especially when we are doing preaching, we get some, you know, African-bodied devotees of those who are new to the culture, and they perhaps maybe feel it quite foreign to engage in the dances that are being danced here, or they are not very familiar with it. So what advice would you give on the way we can approach the dancing style in a way that we can also feel quite involved? Yeah, what advice would you give?
Well, Srila Prabhupada has taught us the graceful way of dancing. Raise your hands and sway back and forth. That's Mahaprabhu's style. But there are no hard and fast rules for dancing, provided it is done purposely to please Krishna. When we dance to please ourselves, then that is not kirtan. When we dance to please Krishna, then that is kirtan. So the Swami step that Srila Prabhupada has demonstrated, raising your hands above your head and putting one step in front, withdrawing, putting another step in front, that is a simple way of introducing dancing to devotees who come into the movement. But there are many other styles of dancing, but the main purpose of the dancing should be to please Krishna. If we dance to please Krishna, whichever form of the dance it takes, so long as the goal is to please Krishna, it can be accepted. But the standard way of dancing is Mahaprabhu style, Nityananda style, with their hands raised up, one step in front, one step behind, and then you see Mahaprabhu dancing very vigorously in that manner. That's the best way to dance. But if there are some other ways of dancing that are meant to glorify the Lord, to give pleasure to the Lord, everything can be used in the service of the Lord. That is called Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means everything can be utilized in the service of the Lord. Nothing should be used for ourselves, but everything should be used for Krishna. So if we are dancing to attract the opposite sex, that is not kirtan. But if we are dancing to please Krishna, that is kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So thank you very much for your very enlightening answer. And also we'd like to express our gratitude to you because regularly, consistently, continually you have been giving your mercy to us, and you have been regularly participating in our online global festivals. So we are very grateful for that. Thank you so much.
It is my pleasure. I would say thank you for giving the opportunity to participate in such global programs, giving the opportunity to say something about such great personalities like Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. Help me to remember Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. So thank you to Maharaj and his wonderful disciples for organizing this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
And now, dear devotees, so now it's quiz time. Okay, so are you ready? Now it's time to test your knowledge about what Prabhuji just said. We're going to check if you have been attentive in the class, or test your knowledge about Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. So please stretch your hands and your fingers and be ready to select the correct answer. So I'll just explain a bit how it's going to be. So we have 4 questions in all. The first 2 questions, I will read them for you. And along with I will read the questions along with the options. And the other 2 questions will be based on a video. So you will need to watch a video very attentively and pay detail to the video, because the next 2 questions that will come will be based on the video. And after the question, a poll will appear on your screen and you need to select the correct option. And please do not try to select the option on the slides because it won't work. And also do not send your answers, your options in the chat box. Okay, the only way to participate is to use the poll. And remember, you have to be very, very fast to be the winner. So let us have our first question. So question 1 is as follows. What was the name of the mother of Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura? Option A, Sri Saraswati. Option B, Sri Narayani. Option C, Sri Bhagya Lakshmi. Option D, Sri Mahalakshmi. So these are the different options and you need to select. Just waiting for the poll, and the poll has appeared. And we can see that the devotees are answering very fast, and many devotees are answering the correct option. Yes. So it is very to see that dynamic, that enthusiasm with which you are answering. And the poll is about to end. And the poll has ended. So now let's have the correct option. And the correct answer is option B, Sri Narayani. So congratulations to all the devotees who got the correct answer. And the winners will be announced at the end. So now we move to question 2. Of course, a small explanation before moving to question 2. Sriman Mahaprabhu is the supreme absolute truth. His remnants are rarely attained by even Lord Brahma, who is the first created being of this universe. Narayani Devi was fortunate to receive those remnants. The son of this Narayani Devi, Vrndavana-dasa Thakura, is the author of this book, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi Kanda 1.150 purport. So this was a bit explaining about the question. Now let us see question 2. Question 2 is as follows. Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura's mother, Sri Narayani, is related to who among the following? So Prabhuji said that in his class. Option A, she is the sister of Sri Gadadhar Pandit. Option B, she is the daughter of Sri Anupama, brother of Srila Sanatana Goswami. Option C, she is the sister of Srila Gopal Bhatt Goswami. And option D, she is the daughter of Sri Rama Pandit, brother of Sri Srivas Thakura. And the poll has started, and we can see the devotees are answering the questions. Yes, and many devotees are getting the correct options. Yes, and the poll is about to end. And yes, all the devotees have answered. And now let us have the correct option. And the correct answer is option D. She is the daughter of Sri Rama Pandit, brother of Sri Srivas Thakura. And now moving on to question 3. Before that, of course, the explanation for question 2. The fortunate Narayani received the remnants left after the Lord finished eating. The innocent young girl Narayani was the daughter of Srivas' brother. The Lord gave her his remnants. All the Vaishnavas blessed her as she joyfully ate the Lord's remnants. She is indeed glorious because she engaged in Narayan's service. Although she was a child, her life became glorious. After she ate the Lord's remnants, the Lord ordered her, "O Narayani, let me hear you cry in ecstasy for Krishna." Lord Chaitanya's order has such potency that the innocent young girl began to cry while calling out to the name of Krishna. Even today, it is well known in Vaishnava society that Narayani was the recipient of Gauranga's remnants. This is taken from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, Madhya Kanda 10.290-96. And now, moving on to question 3. So again, what we said before that, this is a video quiz. So the video will be played, and you need to pay great attention to the video, to all the detail of the video, because the question that will follow will be based on the video. So let us have the video played. And yeah, Haribo, yes. So I hope that you have been able to watch the video very attentively. And now the question which is based on the video. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not want to meet King Prataparudra. What was the reason behind this? Option A, because King Prataparudra had offended devotees. Option B, because a sannyasi is prohibited to converse with a king. Option C, because King Prataparudra was not favorable to the Brahmanas. And option D, because other sannyasis were not allowed in the palace of the king. So the poll will appear soon, and you can just put your answer. And yes, the poll has appeared. You can see the devotees answering very enthusiastically. And many devotees are answering option B. And the poll is about to end. And it has ended. So let us have the correct option. And the correct answer is option B, because a sannyasi is prohibited to converse with a king. And now moving to the explanation. It is prohibited for a sannyasi to see and converse with a king or a woman. A person who desires to fulfill his sense gratification by obtaining king's favor desires to meet the king. To establish the principles of proper etiquette, Mahaprabhu neither saw or conversed with women who are objects of enjoyment, or the king who is approached for obtaining favors. That is why none of the devotees dared to take the king of Utkala to see Mahaprabhu. They were too afraid. So this is from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, Antya Kanda 5.143 purport. And now let us see the question 4 related to the same video. So the question is as follows. What was the doubt in King Prataparudra's mind when he saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing? Option A, the king thought that Mahaprabhu had some disease. Option B, the king could not understand the ecstatic symptoms and felt repugnant with all the saliva, nose watering, and dust on Mahaprabhu's body. Option C, the king thought that there is nothing extraordinary about Mahaprabhu's dancing. And option D, the king took the ecstatic symptoms of Mahaprabhu as some drama to attract people. So these are the different options, and the poll has started, and we can see the devotees answering, and most of the devotees are answering B. Let us see what will be the correct option. The poll is about to end, and the poll has ended. So let us have the correct option. And the correct answer is option B. The king could not understand the ecstatic symptoms and felt repugnant with all the saliva, nose watering, and dust on his body. So we thank all the devotees for participating. Of course, the explanation at the end of this question. So when the Lord was continuously dancing, divine tears flowed from his eyes and saliva flowed from his mouth. In the ecstasy of kirtan, the Lord's entire body became covered with dust, saliva, and water from his nose. The king was unable to understand those transformations of ecstatic love for Krishna, and some doubt arose in his mind. The king did not reveal this to anyone, but returned to his residence in great satisfaction. He returned home and went to sleep. That night, the fortunate Prataparudra saw Lord Jagannath appear before him in a dream. The king saw that the body of Jagannath was covered with dust and tears flowed from his two eyes like streams from the Ganges. Water continuously flowed from his two nostrils, and his body became soaked with saliva from his mouth. In that dream, the king thought, "What kind of pastime is this? I'm unable to understand what Jagannath is doing." The king went to touch Jagannath's feet, but Jagannath said, "O king, this is not proper. Your body is smeared with fragrant camphor, musk, sandalwood paste, and kumkuma. And see my body, it is covered with dust and saliva. Is it proper for you to touch me? Am I fit to be touched by you?" After speaking these words, the merciful Lord looked at his servant and smiled. At that moment, the king saw Lord Chaitanya sitting on the throne where Jagannath was previously sitting. His entire body was covered with dust in the same way as before. He smiled at the king and said, "This is not proper. Earlier today, you felt aversion to me and went home. And why would you touch me now?" After bestowing mercy on Prataparudra in this way, the Lord Gauranga smiled as he sat on the throne. Shortly thereafter, the king woke up and began to cry, "I am sinful, I am misbehaved, and great offender. I did not know that Lord Chaitanya was the Supreme Lord. What power does a living entity have to know him? Therefore, O Lord, please forgive my offenses. Bestow mercy on me by accepting me as your servant." The king thus realized that Lord Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya were non-different. So this is an excerpt from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, Antya Kanda 5.158 to 200. So thank you very much, dear devotees, for participating in the quiz. And please kindly stay connected till the end. The winners will be announced at the end of the session. Also, we'd like to thank the devotees Shrutaketu Putra Das, Chaitanya Bhagavat Das, Bhuvanapati Das, Surya Narayan Das, and Dayarupa Devi Dasi for making this video quiz. And yes, so now moving on to our next item is a wonderful drama presented by the devotees from Ghana. So let us watch this very beautiful drama together.
Hare Krishna. As we all know, Srila Vyasadeva described Krishna Lila. However, he again appeared as Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura in the year 1429 and described Gaura Lila, which is now known as the transcendental book Chaitanya Bhagavat. For his birthplace, some say he was born in Mamagachi in the Navadvipa area. Others say his birthplace was in Kumarahata. His parents were Vaikuntha-natha and Narayani Devi. While only little was disclosed about his father, Vaikuntha-natha, his mother Narayani was popularly known. She happened to be the niece of Srivasa Thakura. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his divinity in the house of Srivasa, showing his true self to the assembled devotees there, he ordered Narayani to chant the name of Krishna. Although she was only 4 years old, she became mad with love of God. And crying, "O Krishna," she swooned in ecstasy as she laid on the ground in a trance of bliss, her eyes filled with tears, overwhelmed with divine love. It is said that mostly the Lord even gave her his remnants. That was what actually made her quite famous, even as a little girl. Although she was only an unschooled little girl, the Lord will favor Srivas Thakura's needs by giving her leftovers of food touched by his holy lips. Indeed, it was by the mercy of the Lord's prasada that Vrndavana-dasa Thakura took birth in the womb of Narayani as the incarnation of Vyasa. Later, Narayani grew and married Vaikuntha-natha, but unfortunately, she became a widow while Narayani Devi was pregnant with carrying Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. After giving birth, she decided to spend a few more years staying with her parents, and later she moved to Srivasa Thakura's house, where her son received so much care and love from Srivasa Thakura and his wife Malini. Not only that, he also received special mercy from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu were the very life and soul of Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. Soon thereafter, Sri Vrndavana-dasa Thakura accepted initiation from Sri Nityananda Prabhu. He is Sri Nityananda's eternal servant. It is said that Sri Vrndavana-dasa Thakura was the last and favorite disciple of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and on his Guru's order, he wrote Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata. The humble heart of Krishna Dasa Kaviraja pours out more praises of Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. Hearing Chaitanya Bhagavata destroys all misfortune. By reading Chaitanya Bhagavata, one will understand the glories of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, and he will attain the highest perfection of knowledge, pure love of Krishna. Since such a wonderful book could not be written by any ordinary human being, it seems that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has spoken it through the mouth of Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. I offer millions of respectful obeisances to the lotus feet of Sri Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. By compiling such a valuable book, he has delivered everyone from the cycle of birth and death. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 8.33242. Such are the glories of Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. Continuing his life at Mamgachi in Moda Druma Dvipa, Navadvipa, Vrndavana-dasa Thakura established deities of Nitai Gauranga and Sri Jagannatha. He lived there as a celibate and worshipped his beloved deities. Vrndavana-dasa Thakura had many disciples, including Gopinatha Brahmachari, a descendant of Sri Keshava Bharati. This brings us to the end of this short drama, and we pray that the glorious disciples of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura, bestows his causeless mercy on us, so we can also continue to sing the glories of Sri Gaura Nitai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So that was such an amazing drama. I hope that you enjoyed it a lot, and would like to thank the devotees from Ghana for the great effort they have put in, and the following devotees they have contributed for this drama. We have Chitraketu Putra Das, Chaitanya Bhagavat Das, Jyoti Swarup Das, Bhuvanapati Das, Surya Narayan Das, Bhakta Michael, Bhakta Aditya, Daya Rupa Devi Dasi, Damyanti Devi Dasi, Ishapriya Devidasi, Bhaktin and Bhaktin Radha. So thank you very much, dear devotees. And also a small correction regarding the quiz video. Actually, the quiz video has been made by two devotees from Brazil, Her Grace Vishnupriya Mataji and His Grace Krishna Dwaipanya Prabhu. So we're very grateful for you for the videos. And of course, no event is complete without some good kirtan. So we have now the pleasure to present a very beautiful bhajan written by Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura himself, named Suno Radha e Rasa. And this bhajan has been sung by the devotees from Nairobi. So please enjoy this bhajan. Hare Krishna.
सुनो राधा ए रसा आमी तुम्हारा वासा तुम बिन नाही भाया माने
सुनो राधा ए रसा आमी तुम्हारा वासा तुम बिन नाही भाया मोने
जा पीते तुम्हारा नामा धैर्य न धैर्य प्राण तुय रूप कोरिए ध्येयाने जा
पीते तुम्हारा नामा धैर्य न धैर्य प्राण तुय रूप कोरिए ध्येयाने
सुनो राधा ए रसा आमी तुम्हारा वासा तुम बिन नाही भाया माने श्री राधे वाणी ये दिखे यार मुखे सुनी से दिखे धाया मोरा माना
श्री राधे वाणी ये दिखे यार मुखे सुनी से दिखे धाया मोरा माना
चाटा का फुकारे जिनो गाना चाहे वारिशाना तेनो हेरियो चंदावादाना
चाटा का फुकारे जिनो गाना चाहे वारिशाना तेनो हेरियो चंदावादाना
श्री राधे रसा आमी तुम्हारा वासा तुम बिन नाही भाया माने मुरली ठाके घन राधा बोली डाके जो टुकसान ना पाई देखी दे
करते मुरली ठाके घन राधा बोली डाके जो टुकसान ना पाई देखी
तुम्हारा नुपुर ध्वनि आपशवना सुनी तबे मोर क्षमा होया चीता
तुम्हारा नुपुर ध्वनि अपना श्रवण सुनी तबे मोर क्षमा होय चीते
सुनो राधा ए रसा आमी तुम्हारा वासा तुम बिन भया मोने राधा कृष्ण दूती नामा ताहे तुमी अगुयाना आमी कोरी तोमारी बोरासा सफल होबो तुया पद परसिबो दास वृंदावने रहे आसा Vrndavana-dasa. सुनो राधा हे रासा आम्ही ये तुम्हारा वासा तुम बिन नाही भय माने Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol
Haribol. So we thank the devotees from Nairobi for this very sweet and ecstatic rare bhajana composed by Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura himself. So we'd like to thank the devotees, His Grace Samadarshi Das, His Grace Prasanatma Das, His Grace Baki Bihari Das, Her Grace Hari Pran Priya Mataji, Her Grace Lavanya Mangala Mataji, Bhakta Pranav, Bhakta Brian, Bhakta Rogers, Bhakta Shadrach, Bhakta Omari and Bhaktin Sharon. And for the videography, we'd like to thank His Grace Nitai Chaitanya Prabhu and Bhakta Kamita. For the sound also, we thank Bhakta Kamita, and for the video editing, we'd like to thank Bhakta Joseph. So here we are, dear devotees. So we have reached nearly the end of session 1 of the global online event. And now we have the pleasure to announce the winners of the quiz. So can we have the winners of the quiz on screen, please? Yes. So for question 1, third position, we have Her Grace Hari Pran Priya Mataji. Second position, we have Bhakta Abhinav Sharma. And first position, we have the winner, Her Grace Madhuri Radha Mataji. So congratulations to you, Mataji. And for question 2, third position, we have Bhakta Aditya. Second position, we have Bhaktin Kamini Sinha. And the winner, first position, we have His Grace Prasanatma Prabhuji. For question 3, we have third position, Her Grace Hari Pran Priya Mataji. And the second position, we have Bhakta Aditya. And our winner for question 3 is Bhakta Ashish Gupta. Question 4, for question 4, third position we have Her Grace Madhuri Radha Mataji. Second position we have Her Grace Namisharina Mataji. And first position we have Bhakta Govinda. Hari Bol to all the devotees, and also a big Hari Bol to all the devotees who have participated also. Of course, it's not a loss that here. It's never a loss, okay? You're all winners. So we have reached the end of session 1 for today's online event. Now, dear devotees, would like to have a look together at the schedule for tomorrow's session, which will come on your screen. So for tomorrow, again, same time, we'll start our program with a short video on the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, followed by a very important talk by our spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Dhir Damodar Swami Maharaj, on the importance of studying Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, followed by some ecstatic kirtan by His Holiness Bhakti Dhir Damodar Swami Maharaj. Then again, we have to test your knowledge by a wonderful quiz, and at the end, we have a nice bhajan to entertain you all. So we have 2 more sessions coming up, and we'd like to see you once again in large numbers. Please kindly invite your friends, your relative, people in your circles to join us on Zoom to dive deeper and deeper into the life and teaching of this great personality, Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura. Also, dear devotees, if you would like to join our BDDS Global Event Seva team, that is, if you would like to serve in our upcoming global events, please kindly come forward and contact us. Our contact details will be given in the chat box. So we thank you very much for your participation. And of course, our program is incomplete without you all. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Thank you very much, Srila Gurudev. And Srila Vrndavana-dasa Thakura ki jai, Vaishnav Thakur ki jai. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev. So can we have the ending video?